Hello and welcome to Mickey Art. Today I'm painting on glass and there's been a bit of conversation in the Acrylic Pouring for Fun Facebook group about pouring on glass. I've not had any problems at all before with pouring on glass, so I'm just doing what I've always done and what most of the people seem to have done in the thread on the group is I've wiped both of these pieces down with isopropyl alcohol. With this one is high percentage. I don't even know where it says it. I think it's about 91 or 99%. I don't think it even says it on there. That's funny. So I just wiped those two down. They've both had time to dry. And I'm getting paint all over my face. How's it get any better than that? So this is a glass vase that I picked up from a second-hand shop, the Red Cross second-hand shop, and it's got a few blemishes originally on the glass anyway, but if you can see there's quite a bit of staining on the inside that actually makes this a very unattractive glass, and it doesn't come off. You can't get your hand in there to give it a good scrub, so basically it's fugly if you know the meaning of that word. So but it's a funky shape. I like the shape, so I'm going to pour that. And then I'm actually going to have that upside down on this. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I was hunting for a Lazy Susan for a long time. And the other day I was cleaning out a cupboard and I found this. And it's actually not that great. Probably just needs some CRC, but the ball bearings aren't great. The base and the top do not stay together. They just kind of come apart, which, considering it comes with a handle to carry it, I think it's a bit stupid. But it's got this handle which does unscrew. And I thought, oh, that could like screw the records on and hold it tight, but no, the screw's not long enough, so that doesn't work either. So I'm going to paint it. If I hate it, I can always turn it upside down and use the base to spin on. If I love it, I can pour resin on it and keep it as a painting. So I'm just going to put a bit of blue tack into the hole so we don't get paint filling up that screw hole, because that would make it rather annoying to not be able to put that screw thingy on it. Then what I'm going to do is I've got this glass jar and a plastic container which the glass jar sits on quite nicely. So I'm going to take the lid off the glass jar and sit it upside down over top of my piece of so that's centered over top of my blue tack. Then I'm going to put that on there. It's coming towards you guys. And then this sits quite nicely, although precariously, on top of there. And I'm going to do a travelling ring pour down the sides of this and let it drip down onto here. I'll then be able to move this, hopefully, over to one side and just get this completely covered, and we'll have two pieces. That's the target. As you can see, it's quite wobbly. So what I might actually do, because that fits in there quite nicely, what I might do is put some more blue tack on the glass jar so that the plastic is attached as such and got a little bit of stability. Maybe that's if blue tack sticks to glass. This is well used blue tack. This has been to a number of expos, holding posters up telling people how they can get more conscious. Yay! Alright, it's still wobbly, but I think it's better. It's not very straight though. Right, are we ready for this? So, now that we've got that sorted, what colours are we going to pour on it? Great question. I'm going to just centre you up a little bit more. So, cup. I need a cup to pour from. As you know, I recycle stuff out of my home a lot. So this is a honey container. It's been used before, it's being used again, and it kind of bends quite nicely to get a pouring lip. So my being a vase, it's going to have a base of green. So I've got here grass green, which I really like once it dries. It looks a bit khaki when it's wet. But that's okay. We've got a little bit of burnt umber. So I've got more grass green mixed if we need it. I've got some bright pink. And then some more green. And then I've got some copper. This is Decor Dazzling Metallics Copper. And some more green. And then I've got a small amount. What do I want to do? Got a small amount of gold. I'm going to put that in there. Oops, my stick. Come on, gold, out you come. As I said, a small amount of gold. Bit more green. Bit more raw umber, burnt umber, I mean. Bit more crimson. And more green. Now, there's not a lot of colour in that, but on the plate I'm going to put without knocking the bars over some, this is Mars Black. And my bit's getting a bit khaki. And then this is just the plain green. So I'm going to start with just some of the green to get the flow going. Now it looks all green to you, but I'm going to bring you around to the side and give you a side shot as I'm doing this. Now what I've found in the past when I'm pouring on shaped objects like this is to use slightly thicker paint than I normally would. And what I'm doing now is just bringing a light covering of paint all the way down the vase. Beep. Without making too much of a mess, but basically just so that the whole vase is covered with paint, which then creates an easier flow surface. Because I don't know about you, but I want the whole thing covered because I don't like those crusty watermarks. So this is my way of making sure that when I pour the colours down, it'll work. Okay. So, wipe that all over my fingers, all over my trousers I mean, and let's scoop some of this colour because it's got a bit of an indent in the bottom, so it's held quite a bit of paint on there. So let's get that off to start with. Awesome! Okay, now let's check what you can see. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my cup, which currently looks quite pretty and layered in there, and I've got to get rid of that so that doesn't, squeezing it to a pour and just drawing little circles like traveling rings. And asking them to cover the whole pot, vase. Alright, some of you may remember my plant pot that I did in a similar style. And we've still got, even though I created that moist path, we've still got areas where it's not running. So I'm just dipping my finger into the green down the bottom and thickening those areas up a bit. trying not to disturb what's on the plate too much, because I'm quite liking the spiral look. I actually might just get some paint out of here. To drag. I'm not actually even touching the vase, and most of the time when I'm doing this I've just got a blob of paint on my finger and helping to drag that area down, a bit like you would on the edge of a canvas. If I was actually touching the vase, it would be rocking. This is just the paint. There we go. That's the last one. Awesome. I love it. So just going to drain those couple of pots out. To put some more paint onto that bottom one, seeing as I'm actually deliberately choosing to create something there. And just letting this drip for a few more minutes. Let's get some more running down there, because there's some yummy bronze in that top bit. Awesome. Okay, you guys can't see the amazingness that I can see, so let me get you down and show you what I can see. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this slowly around so you can see the dribble effect. Stay focused, camera. So this really is just liquid paint. It's all mixed with Floetrol and water to get that runny consistency. So that is copper through there. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Got some gold in there somewhere too. It's gold in there. Anything that looks yellow is gold. Trying to keep you focused, sorry, while I'm tuning it. It doesn't know what to focus on. Alright, so there you go. That looks pretty cool. I quite like that. It's kind of camo, camo looking. And there we go. Look at that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. So the next step is to move the vase aside. And I'm just gonna, I've got this board over here and it's covered in plastic. I'm just gonna let it drip onto that, because then if it makes any pretty drip marks like these down here, I can use them for jewellery. Not that I don't have enough drip stuff, but I'm going to move that across, and then we're going to focus on the glass tray. Okay, so when I moved it away, the paint ran in, and that's why we've got that blue tack there, is to stop it from causing havoc. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all these tins, which didn't really drain much out. That one did. And clear out our tins so that we don't get green and black into our red. There's still quite a bit of paint on here, so basically all I'm going to need to do is a bit of a spin. Oops, that wasn't supposed to fall off. Alright, so now that we've got that sorted, I'm just going to run round and smear this around the edge just to give it that coating again, you know. Hopefully help it move a bit. I don't think this Lazy Susan is actually a good enough spinner, and this was, I should have prepared this earlier, but I didn't. So here's the plan. We're going to get a piece of toothpick, a giant toothpick, that's a giant toothpick. Popsicle stick is the word, and some tape. And not get that gunk in the paint. And then I'm gonna take this to the underside of here, which if you've watched any of my videos before where I've used my other Lazy Susan, this is a trick I learnt from Debbie Coles, who used to run acrylic pouring. See, that gives me a stick to hold on to, but it didn't stay. Gives me a bit better swing. Maybe we need stickier tape. My husband will be mortified that I'm not using black tape. Where's my black tape? This black polythene tape is what he uses to hold the polythene that goes under all his concrete floors he pours. And it's kind of a bit of a tradition in the Edhouse family to use this for everything. Wrapping Christmas presents, you name it. You use black tape. Alright, that feels stronger. Let's get that going. Spinalogicus. Oh, I wish I could get some more paint out of these pipes. There we go. Trying to go around the shape that's already been made so I don't disturb the funky pattern that has been created. Sorry if my head is getting in the way. Definitely need more in there. Now this was a clean tin when I started this morning, or started this painting. So I know that I can scrape the sides without worrying about hard crusty bits. But if you've had paint sitting around in a container for a few days, you're going to get hard crusty bits on the edges. So just make sure you're careful when you're scraping out your paint that you don't get hard crusty bits in your painting, because that's not cool. Alright, we've got enough paint on those sides bits. Let's give that another spin. Don't put your finger through it, Michelle. One more. That was a better one. That black tape's holding. It's doing its job. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright. Now, I wonder if there's any silicone left in any of that. I haven't torched the vase yet either. Alright. Let's give it. I know there's some bubbles in here, so let's get rid of those for a start off. So I've had quite a few people asking me, can I use things other than flame to do this job? I've seen other artists using heat guns and other things like that. I don't personally think they get quite as good a result, but it's totally up to you. If you are not comfortable playing with flame, I've always been a bit of a pyromaniac. But if you're not comfortable playing with flame, please don't. I've heard that you can use a hairdryer. So just try different things. Heat guns, like you use for stripping the paint off stuff. As long as you keep it far enough away that it's not burning the paint. You just want to lightly warm it. Honestly, this flame, like, I'm not putting my finger in front of it and beside it. I can see the flame to here, but I don't go any closer than that because that's quite warm. That's quite warm on my hand. So there was no silicone come out on that. Oh, there was a couple of tiny ones, but nothing really. But that's quite funky. I quite like that. I'm not sure how you do. I think if I do this, I'm going to pour it with the resin. Pour the resin with the stick in, because then it makes storing a bit of a pain. I'm going to ask questions about that. Alright, let's swing you around and you can watch me torch this. I can see little air bubbles popping. Pop, 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 pop. I'm going to have to go around the other side. It's not on Lazy Susan, I can't turn it anymore. So that's dripping quite a bit off, as you can see. It's got quite a bit puddling down there. And I am a little bit concerned about the lip, the top lip. But we'll come to that when we come to it. Alright, let me get you down and show you the Lazy Susan. Alright, look at that copper. That's doing phenomenal things over on that side. That's so pretty. So this is just from the drips. The pattern's made from the drips dripping off the bottom of the vase. Look at that. It's like a travelling ring pour. Yay! Another one for June. For those of you that are either new to the group or haven't joined the Facebook group, Acrylic Pouring for Fun, please come play with us. We've got a challenge on for the month of June. Whee! And that is a travelling ring pour, including your most favourite and your least favourite colours. And I can quite honestly say green has always been my least favourite colour all my life. And I love this copper, so how's it get any better than that? It was only my least favourite colour because Mum and my sister had it as their favourite colours and I didn't want to be like them. Some of the reasons we choose some of our points of view. Isn't it hilarious? Have you ever stopped yourself and gone, oh, why did I choose that point of view? Maybe it's to do with I don't like beetroot, or I'm scared of dogs, or what actually created that point of view? What were you choosing at the time when you created the point of view that made you not like it or be scared of it or whatever? It's some of the fun stuff that I do with my access consciousness facilitating, and yeah. It's always quite fascinating to see what shows up for people when they look at that. So I'm going to leave these to dry and come out in the morning and see what magic has been created. It's so exciting. You never quite know when it's a 3D object like this how much of that is going to run down the sides and disappear off the bottom. Drip, drip, drip. All right, I will see you again once these are dry. Bye-bye. All right, so we are all dry. I've given it plenty of time to dry. Actually, it's done really, really well. Now, the next step is to get it off here. And my blue tack has done a really good job of staying attached, which I'm really grateful for. How does it get any better than that? Now, before we move on to this, I just want to show you this beautiful vase. How does it get any better than that? Look at all that yummy copper and gold. It's a bit cold out here. And for those of you that are new to this sport, oops, it's still not dry. Wow, okay. It's had about 5 days and it's still not dry. It is super, super thick though, so I'm not really surprised. So this down here is what we would call a skin. And that's where it's dripped off onto something. And because it's dry on a plastic surface, or once it's dried, I will be able to pull that off and allow it to, look how wet that still is. Wow, that's blowing me away actually. 5 days and it's still that wet. Anyway, so that is, I'm going to put that aside and let it continue drying. That tissue was not strong enough for that amount of wet paint. How does it get any better? Okay. Blue tack, don't go in the bath. I just dropped my my jar into some water, having not taken the blue tack off the top. So I will rescue that and use it again another time. So what's next? We're going to put that away to continue drying. And what we need to do next is remove the little plastic cup. Now if I just take it like that, it's just going to rip, and that is not what I want it to do. So I've got my knife and I'm just going to run a cut around there. Got that? Yep. And then I'm going to trim back to the edge, hopefully without, are you still in focus? Yep. Hopefully without cracking it down the side. And now that I've gone all the way around, it's just going to be a matter of just flicking those extra bits off. Now, I always allow my pieces at least 2 weeks from when I consider them dry for the paint to really dry, really go hard, and commit to being the shape it is and in the place it is. And once it's made that commitment, then we can start washing it and getting off all the silicone, and then using a sealer to do that. So I'm super, super, super pleased with this. Really, really, really pleased. Look at that. It looks like expensive wood. Expensive because it's got gold and copper in it. But it has that yummy copper, yummy wood grain look to it. So looking forward to having that. I'm not even sure I'll put flowers in that. I will point out though, I did think it was dry and touched the bottom. But that's okay, it's the bottom and it doesn't affect its wobbliness. So we're all good. So that is the vase. Now let me zoom you back out again. Oops, wrong way. And spin you around and show you the Lazy Susan. How cool is this? Now I did take the bit of blue tack out while it was still wet, because I didn't want to have that ridge of paint. So as you can see, there is a slight dent where I took that out, but not as bad as if I had left it to dry. We also have had a organic contribution. You can see my little bug that has donated its life to the cause of art. How's it getting any better than that? But look at this. I love that. Now, because it's on glass, it would probably peel off and I could use this as skins if I wanted to. But I'm just loving the overall look of this piece. It just is fantastic. So the only problem with it is, of course, that the base does not connect to the top. Look at that. Isn't it pretty? I do like it. I do like it a lot. So let me just show you a couple of things. I had a lot of silicone in this painting, and you can see that by how shiny this is. This is where all the silicone, I can actually, I don't know if I can capture it though. Oh yeah, there we go. Can actually draw circles in the silicone on the surface of this. And you'll see around here, maybe if I can get that light out of my way. Maybe I need to use the light. There's some slight shaping occurred, and that is purely just where there was just so much silicone. Oh, there we go. There's a good example of it just there. So much silicone, it's actually created a dent, but that's all right. If we're going to put resin over the top, nobody is ever going to notice that. And same with our little winged friend. If you don't know he's there, you'll never see him once it's been resined. And I don't know if you've noticed so far, but there's quite a few little air bubble pop marks. You can see them really lots over here. But you know, when you're resining, it's no problem. I love copper so much. How does it get any better? And the cool thing is, copper paint does not seem to tarnish anywhere near as much as real copper here in Rotorua. We are a sulphur city, built around thermal wonderland. So things made of copper tend to go black really quick. So there we have it, guys. I'm so pleased with both of these. They are beautiful, and looking forward to having them as beauty pieces in my world. How does it get any better than that? Alright, I will see you in the next video. I've decided this is a travelling ring pour, and before I started acrylic pouring, brown and green were my least favourite colours in the whole world. So this does, and copper is one of my favourite, and gold. So this qualifies in the June Acrylic Pouring for Fun Facebook group challenge. So there we go, travelling ring pour. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? What magic can we create next? I actually have been caught short. I've been very busy this week so far, and I'm going to have to paint something really quickly so that you guys have something to look at. So I am looking forward to playing with you tomorrow on the acrylic pouring for the Mickey Art Go Live session. Check your emails if you have signed up on mickeyart.com/sign up. You will have received already the time for that. Check your time around the world and come play with me. We are doing pendants. Yes, pendants. How much fun can we have with pendants? And I adore you all. I will see you super soon. Bye bye.